Good day to all the students. This is for class 9th, The Road Not Taken, poem 1 from Beehive. The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry, I could not travel both. Now this poem, children, this is a poem about the choices that life has to offer you. You have to opt for one or the other choice at every point of life, right from morning to dawn. You are offered so many choices from life, and as a different individual, everybody will choose differently. So, here the poet says that he's standing on a point where in front of him there are two roads diverging. Diverged means separating or branching off. It is a point from where he can see the two roads diverging apart, and it is there in a yellow wood. Yellow wood here means the season is autumn, and that is why the woods, the trees, have yellow colored leaves. The second line says, and sorry, I could not travel both. But that means that the poet is feeling sorry that he cannot travel both the roads at the same time, because of a single traveler, how can the single traveler, take both the roads at the same time? Symbolically, it is explained that a single human being cannot make two choices at the same time. Take a real life example. After class 10, you'll have to choose your stream. It may be commerce, it may be science, but you cannot take both of them together. So this is how you need to make up your mind. So the theme of the poem is number 1, life is full of choices. Number 2, you have to choose one of the given options. And be one traveler long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could. The poet in these lines says that he is one traveler and he's standing there. Long I stood means standing there for a long time. Why is he standing there for a long time? Because he's trying to make up his mind which road to choose. The decision is not coming immediately. He takes some time, he pauses, and he starts analyzing which way to choose. And look down one as far as I could. He's trying to look down at the two roads and trying to predict what will be there on the first road or on the second road. And the last line of this paragraph says, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Both the roads were bending in the undergrowth. Undergrowth means the dense forest had covered the end points of those roads. So basically you can look, your vision is limited. You cannot look beyond. You cannot foresee, you cannot predict what will be at the end of these two roads. So the decision is, he's in dilemma, he's in doubt. He has an ambiguous picture, a picture which is not very clear in front of his eyes. The rhyme scheme of this particular paragraph is A, B, A, B. The last line of the paragraphs are would, both, stood, could, and undergrowth. So the rhyme scheme I'm repeating, A, B, A, B. Children, from this paragraph, as an extract, I can ask you certain questions. What is the name of the poem? The Road Not Taken. What is the name of the poet? Robert Frost. Two roads diverge. What is the meaning of diverge? The meaning of diverge is to branch off or to separate. What does yellow wood indicate here? Yellow wood indicates autumn season. Sorry, I could not travel both. Who is I in these lines? First of all, I is poet Robert Frost. Why couldn't he travel both the roads? He couldn't travel both the roads because he's a single traveler, and being a single traveler, he has to take up any one path. And then it says, can he foresee what would happen, or where those roads will lead him? So answer is no. He has a limited vision, and because of the dense forest, his vision is blocked. He cannot predict what is going to be the end of those two roads. So that was paragraph 1. We will now start with the second paragraph of this autobiographical poem of the poet. Autobiography because he's writing his own experience. Children, he had written this poem when he himself was facing a difficult decision in his life. He was supposed to take a very important decision about his career, and that was whether to join his family business of farming or to take a risk and emerge as a poet. So, obviously, as we're reading his poem right now, we all know that he became a poet, which was a slightly risky option for him. When we have these choices in our life, or so many choices in our life, always one of the choice is a safe choice which has been followed by many people, or just to follow the crowd, take a safe decision. But the second option is sometimes risky, because you have to prove yourself in that decision, and not many people had taken it up. So this poet actually became he selected the risky path, and he became a poet. And it depends on you what kind of a person you are, whether you follow the crowds, or whether you are tempted to take up a different unique decision. The second paragraph says, then took the other just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim. He took the other. What did he took? He took the other road. He left the first road. He finds that perhaps it has a better claim. Perhaps means probably, maybe. It is a better option. Better claim here means better option. Reason is in the third line, because it was grassy and wanted wear. So the two roads as described in this paragraph are, the very first road is a used road, because he could see footsteps on those roads, and he could make out that many people have been traveling through that road. Whereas the other road was grassy. Grass was growing over there, which made sure that it was an unused, or a road which wanted wear. Wanted wear here means it wanted to be used. It was not used commonly. It was not a common path. Though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. So both the roads were lying in front of him. Which one he took up? He took up the second road, which was a risky road because it was grassy and unused. Children, these two roads are not only roads but a symbol of choices. As I told you, the figure of speech used here is metaphor. METAPHOR, which means a comparison between two things. What two things are being compared here? One, the roads are being compared to the choices that are there in our lives. Now I'm going to ask you certain questions about the second paragraph. Which road did the poet choose? The poet selected the road which was fresh, unused, grassy, or wanted wear. So what kind of a personality does the poet have? Would he like to does he like to take up adventures, or is he a person who would like to make safe choices? We now come up to the third paragraph. And both that morning equally lay in leaves, no step had trodden black. Both that morning, both the ways are equally in front of him. They look equally tempting. In leaves no step had trodden black. Trodden black means nobody had walked over and made the leaves black by stepping over them. You know, when you step over the dried leaves, they become crushed and black. So, oh, I kept the first for another day. What is he saying? The first road I'll try some other day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. What is the doubt here? He is doubting that right now I'm leaving this road so that I can cover it up some other day. But I have a doubt in my mind. Will I get another opportunity to come back to the same track and opt once more? The answer to this is no. It is not impossible, but it is very difficult to change the decisions that you have made, to change basically the crucial decisions that you have made in life. So, as I told you, there are a number of themes in this poem. First, life is full of choices. Second, the choices will be difficult. One of them will be a risky one of them will be a safe one. And third, as suggested by this paragraph, once you make a choice, it is going to be difficult to change it. He says, how way leads on to way. One road leads to the other, and then to the other, and far off in that particular direction. The other road leads to another way, and that pushes the poet into some other direction. So it is not basically possible that he comes back and makes that decision again. It is very difficult. Going to the last paragraph, and a very important paragraph. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. Now, children, apart from the themes that I have discussed earlier, there is another theme, another side of this poem, in which the poet tells us about one aspect of human nature, that human beings are never satisfied, no matter what choice they would make, but they will always wonder, what would have happened had I chosen the other road? What would have happened? Have I chosen the wrong road? They will always be in doubt. For example, a poor person, if he buys a cycle, he would always think that what would happen if I take up a bike. And once he gets a bike, he would think about purchasing a car, and so on, the next model of the car, and so on. So grass is always greener on the other side of the road, it is said that, which means human beings are basically unsatisfied. They have always a nature of being unsatisfied. This poet is saying, somewhere ages and ages hence means many years after I'll make this choice. I shall be telling this with a sigh, S-I-G-H, sigh, which means breathing deeply with a lot of sad element in his expression. So is the poet satisfied? No. This particular lines, I shall be telling this with a sigh, tells us the poet is not comfortable with his choice. He is kind of regretting his choice. He's still in dilemma. And the last three lines he's repeating that what will I tell many years after? He will tell that two roads diverge in a wood. I took the one less traveled by. That has made all the difference. Now the last summing up theme of this poem is that has made all the difference. The little choices that we make in our life make a big difference in and impact on our lives. It may take 5 years or 10 years, but the small choices that you're making today, whether right or wrong, will shape up your destiny, will shape up your future in the coming years. So it is advisable by the poet that always make wise choices. There will be always these two roads or multiple roads in front of you, and you will have to choose. And please choose logically, choose wisely. Alright, so that completes this poem. NCERT questions I'll discuss in short. Where does the poet find himself? He found himself on a point where in front of him two roads are diverging. What problem does he face? He faces a problem of selecting the road, which one to choose. You can always answer in your own language. There's a value-based question. Have you ever tried to make a difficult choice, or what road would you have chosen if you were in the place of that poet? So again, an open-ended answer. If you say that I am a comfortable kind of person, I look up for safe choices, you can give that reason, your answer will be acceptable. But if you think that I have a unique quality and I want to prove myself, I want to take risk in life, I am going to prove myself, so that answer is also will be accepted, provided you give enough reasons. Thank you. That's all for this session.